Hi there, back again. Okay, well, I just got a question, and I thought really wanted to do it on video, answer it on video, because I thought it was a great question. Someone had written, what do you do when you've been diagnosed with lots of different labels? Okay, so, and obviously that's a lot to deal with, and I thought, wow, it's such an interesting discussion to have about labels, how it works for some and not for others. And in all my years of working with people, I'm fascinated by the fact that some people really appreciate getting a label for their condition, and I've had an odd few that totally devastated them when they got that diagnosis. And so for me, I always ask clients, how do you feel about the diagnosis? What do you think about that label? What does it mean to be given this label? Because I understand when you go and see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, they want to understand you and they want to help you. And by putting a label on a set of traits can help them help you, give you the right meds, give you the right therapy. And I think understanding that, that they're there to help. Now, I think in America it's a bit different because you have to actually get the medication, you have to diagnose somebody with something. And so for me, I always love to find out, so how do you feel about that label? And maybe you've got multiple labels, and there's comorbidity. So if you've got one thing, you've often got another. I think it's interesting. I think one of the labels was CPTSD, so complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which I actually think we have all definitely got. Now, that's on a scale, everything's rateable. So obviously, I think definitely had it. I think all of us do. If you've been through childhood, I think, childhood is actually pretty traumatic. Even if yours was great and you don't remember it, the first 7 years you're being brainwashed and conditioned. And they reckon trauma happens inside you. It doesn't happen to you. It happens inside you when you feel scared and alone. Well, everyone felt scared and alone growing up. So everyone has, I think, if we were honest, has that. And it's obviously on a rateable scale. So you might be more down this end, more up the top end. And the symptoms would be much more severe. So any label, and okay, all these labels are just that, labels. They don't actually mean diddly squat. They're there to help you understand maybe what's happening inside of you for whatever reason, whatever reason. Because I don't think you can sometimes even look at childhood, because I think this is beyond childhood. This is, we know about generational trauma. Maybe it's something that you kind of was infiltrated through your DNA. And so you can't really always look back at the past and go, oh, well, ... they all add up. This is what this means. Sometimes you can, which is great. I think that just is helpful to understand how you got the way you are. But sometimes it's actually, you can't do that. So labels, I think, can be really helpful, but it's actually how you feel about the label. Because the label is just suggesting a few things about you, like your traits. And so, if you struggle to read, like you have dyslexia. So all these labels, no matter what they are, even autism, and I think ADHD, ADD, all these different labels, I think can be helpful. And really, it's about your attitude and how you feel about that label. If you are so rejecting of that label, and the label's just telling you some information, it's just telling you, it's just information. That's all that label is. It doesn't mean anything. And I know one of the first clients I ever worked with when I was in training, she got the label of bipolar, and she was absolutely devastated. And she was so rejecting of that label because she looked it up online and oh, it's forever. I'm never going to get over it. I'm always going to be this way. She was absolutely devastated. And it was hard because, long story short, we had to make peace with that label. We have to make peace. Okay, it's informing you of something. It's a bit like, someone says, you have severe allergies, or you have a skin problem, or you have a deformed leg. and the diagnosis is, scoliosis in your back, you've got a curved spine. Okay, right, there's the information. What we're going to do with it? We can reject it, or we can embrace it. We can help us realize that actually this is information that I didn't know, and now I know that. So how do I learn to live with it? How do I learn to embrace it? How do I learn to love all the aspects of myself, even the ones I don't like? You see, everything is an opportunity for you to actually reject or accept. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say the word accept, it doesn't mean you have to like it. I had grey hairs at 18. I didn't like it. But you have to learn to accept that, well, this is who I am. This is the way I'm made. This is, there's certain aspects about me that I did not like. I totally rejected them. Completely and utterly. And I wanted to run away as far as I could. But could I? Could I run away from the body? Could I? No. No more than I can run away from some of these traits that we adapt and have in our lives. And they are part of us. And so it's about, it doesn't matter what the label is. That's just information to help you understand yourself at a deeper level. And if someone's put a box around it and called it a label, it's just information. And that information tells you A, B, C, D, these are some of the traits you have. And you have to learn to acknowledge, yes, they're there, own them, embrace them, even though you hate them. See, this is about unconditional love. This is about you loving yourself at a level that you didn't really think you could, or you should, or you know what I'm saying? It's about understanding there's an aspect of you or a part of you, and this is the trouble with labels. You seem to think this is you. That label is not you. That label is an aspect, a very probably small aspect of the whole of you. You're an amazing human being here on planet Earth. Do you know what a miracle that you are, that you live and breathe on planet Earth? We are walking miracles. That's what we are. And this label doesn't mean or say anything about you unless you say it does. And that's the problem with labels, because a label can, you feel like it's like anything, like, oh, if you have struggle with addiction, well, I'm an addict. No, there's an aspect of you where you have a personality type, perhaps, where you are prone to addiction, or you have a proclivity or a predisposition to addiction. So what you can do with it, you can reject it. That's not going to work, because what that is you reject, deny, and avoid. You press it down, it'll come out sideways. No, okay, you look at it and you go, okay, well, this is helping me. This is information that's helping me understand me. I have got a compulsive personality type. If I start doing something, I will just do it. If I listen to a record or something, I will listen to it 10,000 times. And then I will stop and never listen to it again. Now, I am very compulsive. I have to know myself well enough to know that this is who I am, and I choose to love everything about me. I choose to show compassion to every single aspect of my being. So, everyone knows, I've talked about it in many videos, I have issues with anger. I had to learn to love that part of me unconditionally. I didn't like it. I didn't want it. I couldn't control it. But guess what? When I repressed and denied it, it came out sideways. So rejecting it wasn't the answer. The answer was embracing it, bringing it into the family of one, which is me, and saying, okay, this is an aspect of me. This is a part of me that I actually don't like. I've tried rejecting it and, well, punishing it and judging it. Well, that didn't work. And so maybe I will offer it compassion and some empathy, because underneath it was pain. See, it doesn't matter what you've been told. No one can tell you who you are. You get to choose who you are. And we're so busy, we give our power away to everybody. Tell me who I am. Tell me what's wrong with me. Tell me. And then they tell you, and it's like, oh, well, what the hell do I do with that? And I'm not undermining or minimizing what anybody's going through. When you get a diagnosis or diagnosis, you have to take that on board and go, okay, well, this is what I've been told. Okay, what do I do with that? What do I do? Do I reject it? Do I deny it? Do I stamp my feet? Do I say no? Or do I actually have some empathy and compassion for yourself? This is a tough gig here on the planet Earth. Shit, I don't know how any of us make it out alive. I really don't. And the ones that are obviously unwell, I think are the more honest ones, if I'm honest. I think they're the more authentic ones. You talk about the black sheep or the scapegoat or the one that has the voice and upsets everybody. I actually think they're the one that's the most unwell. I actually think they're the most honest ones. You come to this planet and this is crazy la la land. Let's face it, it is. We're all kind of in this crazy land where it's insane. I mean, just look at the world. Look what we've created in this world. Anyway, we won't go there. So I want to reassure you, your labels are to help you embrace all of you. Embrace more of you. Love yourself unconditionally. Can you imagine loving yourself unconditionally, even the bits you don't like and you really don't like and you hate? Stop hating on yourself and start loving yourself. Now, a road to recovery starts with one tiny step. And I love NA and AA because the first step is I'm an addict or I'm struggling with addiction. I have an issue. Being brave enough and courageous enough to say, I'm a flawed human being and this is what I'm struggling with. And saying, so what am I going to do with that? Am I going to reject it? Am I going to deny it? Am I going to stick it in the dungeon and hope it never rears its ugly head? No. I'm going to say yes to it. I'm going to embrace it, whether I hate it, whether I loathe it, because you are responsible for you. And you have to be your own hero in your own life. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. And believe me, I know how hard that is. Believe me, sometimes it's easier to sit in that childlike space and go, someone help me, someone save me. And I often say to people who are struggling with sitting in that, I call it sitting in the child space. I hate calling people a victim. I just think it's really disrespectful. I don't think it's kind. Sometimes we hadn't had the tools, we didn't have the people around us to support us to maybe to get through the first few years, but after that maybe we didn't have somebody around us to support us emotionally, psychologically, and it has left us still in a childlike space where we are, minimize our issues. We are in survival mode a lot of the time. We are acting out of that fear. We do not feel safe inside of us. Things have happened to us where we don't feel safe. Your job is to create a safe space. This is home, and the only way through is in. And so you go into the darkest recesses of your heart, and you hold yourself gently and tenderly, and you put your arms around that little girl, little boy, whoever it was growing up, and you tell them that I'm here for you. I love you. You're safe. It's over now. I'm responsible for you. Everything's going to be okay. I want you to hold that. Imagine that little kid. Imagine the part of you that you've been rejecting for a long time. Maybe the feeling of being out of control, the anger, the sadness, the depression, whatever it is, just hold it. Imagine a small child Imagine that you become the parent you never had. You have to reparent that child sometimes. And as you reparent and create a safe space for that child, guess what happens? What do you think happens when you create a safe space for your own heart, your own emotional being? That part of you starts to feel safe. When you feel safe, you will start to develop. You will start to shift, but it takes time. And you have to be patient with yourself. And every day you do a tiny little thing, a tiny little bit. And if that just means putting your hand on your heart and holding that child for a certain amount of time and just committing to being there, because you're the source of everything. And you have to put yourself at the center of everything. You are not a task on a tick-off box. I've got to put myself first. No, you do not put yourself first. You put yourself at the center of everything you do, because you take you with you, and you take that little girl with you. And I'm sure this is a harsh task for people that feel they've never had those good people around them to show them or, help nurture them. And that's shit. That's crap. And I'm sorry if that happened to you. But it's a new day. It's a new year. It's a new dawning of an age. And this is a time where you have to step up, be the hero in your own life. Embrace it all. Allow it all. Doesn't mean you have to like it. And I'm telling you, slowly, patiently, every day, things will start to shift. You don't see it happening, and the trouble is we are instant gratification. If it doesn't happen right now, then we give up. And the key is you never, ever, ever give up on you. You never give up on you. I hope that's answered the question. If not, let me know. We'll talk more about it. And maybe it's given you something to think about. Anyway, if you feel that resonated, you want to reach out, please do so. I do work one-on-one. Okay. Well, until the next time, take care. Bye for now.